Um, I've been blessed to host this particular induction ceremony for some 25 years and have had the honor to introduce a lot of you and a lot of the people in this room. Craig, you're right. It would have been a little awkward for me to come up here and induct myself into the Hall of Fame. And I'm glad, Craig, you're the guy that's here tonight. He's taken over the sports department of Wavy TV and Fox 43 and given the old man an opportunity to be able and go home and have dinner with his family for the first time in 45 years. And I couldn't have asked for a better person to have handed the torch off to. So every honoree here tonight has too many highlights and too many memorable moments, too rich a body of work to even begin to scratch the surface in the 5 minutes that Will has told us that we have. And I know for many years I sat and did this induction ceremony, and I just groaned, sometimes because I'd be looking at my watch and it's like 11 o'clock. But it's such a big night for everyone. And, your family is here and your friends are here, as it is with me. And you just get caught up in the emotion. My primary thoughts over the last 2 years, waiting for this evening, are really thoughts of gratitude and appreciation for all of the events that I've had the opportunity to cover for the last half century. Some as simple as a high school game, some of them historic moments, like when I personally witnessed and recorded Cal Ripken when he broke the Ironman record in Baltimore, the great Virginia Sports Hall of Famer Bruce Smith and his 4 consecutive Super Bowls, and being able to watch William Fuller on the field. And boy, I'll tell you what, William Fuller was ornery when he played in the NFL, but I guess you had to be when you're a defensive lineman. And of course, being in Sydney, Australia, watching Lawrence Johnson's medal-winning performance in the 2000 Olympics and doing a story on him playing the piano for NBC. And Lawrence Johnson should have gotten the gold medal of those Olympics. It was because of a technicality that they changed the Olympic rule because it was such a bad rule. So I will always consider Lawrence Johnson as being a gold medal winner. I was at ringside for just about every one of the 45 professional boxing matches that were fought by our Virginia Hall of Famer, Sweet Pea Whitaker. And then, unfortunately, I was in Atlanta the night that the bomb went off in Olympic Park, and I was in the infield at the Daytona 500 the evening that Dale Earnhardt died. But for those few heartbreaking stories, there have been thousands of joyous ones, like interviewing our Virginia Hall of Famer Ricky Rudd in his little brick ranch house with his wife Linda, his newly wife Linda, on Sparrow Road in Chesapeake back in 1976 after Ricky had raced in his first Daytona 500. And he would go on, of course, to become NASCAR's Iron Man. He had just returned from that race. He was 20 years old. I was 22 years old. He went on to race in 30 Daytona 500s, and I was there for about 20 of them. I remember sitting in the dugout with Hall of Famer Michael Kadire just 11 years ago when we did a story as he prepared for his very first All-Star game, and of course the appreciation of watching David Wright play as a kid and then grow into not just one of the greatest baseball players in the history of Major League Baseball, but one of the most beloved and finest gentlemen in Major League Baseball history. While I began my career learning how to write a newspaper story from another Virginia Sports Hall of Famer, Eddie Crane of the Washington Star, back in 1972, it was my 45 years as sports director at Wavy TV that provided me with the opportunities not only to travel the world, but also to give back to our community in so many ways, and then twice being rewarded by being able to represent Virginia by carrying the Olympic torch. You know, people have asked me the simple question, what is the best thing about covering a sports event? Well, for me, it didn't matter if I was watching the great Hall of Famer Kenny Easley play every single position during a high school football game at Oscar Smith High School. Yes, I am that old. Or watching Curtis Strange, a Virginia Sports Hall of Famer from Princess Anne High School, win 2 consecutive U.S. Opens. It's been the opportunity to cover the whole story through the years, even decades, and then watching how those stories played out with the young men or women or coaches that I covered giving their speech when they were inducted into the Virginia Sports Hall of Fame, and sitting there looking at them saying, you know what, I watched their entire career, and boy, they deserve it. You know, at that point, I think that I could only hope that I had described the story of their amateur and their professional lives credibly, and maybe even better than anyone else might have been able to tell their stories over their great careers. Like everybody else, I want to thank the love of my life, my wife, Virginia, and my sons. Yes, those are my many friends that were here when they know that. And my sons are here, Reed and Alex, for their love and their support. They're 16 years old, twins, and they are juniors at Cox High School. And thank you guys for the many sacrifices that you guys have made when most husbands and fathers were at home having dinner, but your dad was always doing the 6 and 11 o'clock news, and you weren't there. And a shout out to my 3-year-old twins, Bryce and Haley, who are at home right now watching monster trucks and Barbie videos on YouTube. And maybe someday, when they get older, they'll be able to watch their dad on YouTube, and they'll probably say what Reed and Alex say, and did he really look like that? With all that hair? You know, in many ways, this honor tonight is an acknowledgement of my parents, my late father, Orth, and my mother, Audrey, who will be celebrating her 93rd or 92nd birthday, 91st birthday in a few weeks. You know, since I got into the business a half a century ago, my mother has always been my toughest critic, but my biggest fan, both on and off the air. The choices, the decisions, and the sacrifices that my working mother made back in the 50s and the 60s, and then throughout the 68 years that I've been on this earth, shaped the story of my life. So what a gift it is to be able to have her sitting here in the front row with me tonight. You don't have to stand. I'll be honest with you. I keep thinking, what am I doing on this stage? I never thought that this night would ever happen. So I'm going to finish with an apology to the great Lou Gehrig. Sorry, Lou, but tonight I am the luckiest man in the world. Honored to have so many friends and so many families that have taken time out of their lives to be here tonight. And I want to thank to the Hall of Fame for this wonderful honor, and thanks to all of you for being here and being a part of my life. Thank you.